All right, today is November 27, 2003, Thanksgiving. We have Harry Gilbert right here. And Harry Gilbert, we've already interviewed last Thanksgiving about the way life was
in the old days.
In the old days. Now we want to ask more specific questions, and some of the questions we wanted to ask were about World War II. Grandpa, could you state your name, shield, and command in World War II? You were a medic, right?
Yes, I was a medic.
And which battalion?
Harry Gilbert, 52nd Medical Battalion.
What's your serial number?
And my serial number is 3227-2238.
Okay.
And
well, right before the war, what was the feeling like that was going? What was going on in Europe? What did you know about it?
Actually, it made you feel like you had to get into this thing because evil was really destroying the whole world. It was just a big cloud of mustard gas. I mean, the Nazis were overrunning Europe, and Jews were being slaughtered, and to me there was no other alternative. In fact, I had to practically cheat on my eye exam to get into the Army.
How did you do that?
I memorized the chart. And I have relatives and cousins and friends who couldn't get in for physical reasons, and they were the sorriest bunch of guys you ever met. They did all they could, building LSTs and doing other war work. But that was the feeling in those days.
And was that the feeling of most of the other people, most of your friends?
I was a young man, and I was pretty radical. And when I got, I even used to sing the Internationale in the shower.
What's the Internationale? The communist?
It was a communist song. And at that time, Russia had been invaded and was in the war, and they were the only ones that were battling Hitler and Mussolini. But what turned me off from communism altogether was the fact that originally Russia joined Germany in splitting up Poland, which was my family's home originally. Anyway, in some ways, I mean, some fellows even shunned me in the Army because they were afraid to be linked with someone who could sing the Internationale. But most of all, I made very good friends, and my outfit, which I finally wound up with, the 52nd Medical Battalion, was stationed at Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and we had a colonel, I think his name was Colonel Lynch, I think. Anyway, he was gung-ho to get overseas and into the action, and he got us into the 6th Army Corps, which went to Africa, and I went over on the Mauritania, I remember. It was all different outfits, fellow medics, and some infantrymen and airmen. It used to be an ocean liner, you know, a luxury liner. And we landed at Casablanca, and in Casablanca, we saw the Jean Bart. On its side was a French battleship that they had scuttled so that the Germans wouldn't get it, the Nazis. And in a way, I felt like Forrest Gump all through the war because I seemed to meet, I even saw Churchill, I used to...
You have a very specific anecdote about Winston Churchill, don't you? What happened with Winston Churchill?
Well, when we were on our way to Anzio, right before we started, I was on an English ship. And he came through the harbor in the Bay of Naples, and his little tug practically was right next to where we were standing on the deck, and I gave him the V, and he gave me the V back, and I swear it was he and I. And I was always pretty proud of that. And my brother, who was a Churchill fan all the way, I mean, he was really impressed when he heard about it.
Well, where did you start out? Where was your basic training camp?
Basic training was in out in Long Island, and well, I'm showing my age a little. Yaphank.
Okay.
And the first day that we got there, I met Joe Louis. He was greeting everybody. And of course, the first day or two you're in the Army, it's pretty confusing. And I wound up in a poker game with some non-coms, and I was winning, and I was afraid to quit, because it looked like they were going to threaten me. Anyway, it all wound up okay. They sent me down to Camp Lee, Virginia, and for our basic training. And in Camp Lee, Virginia, they assigned you to where you were going to be. I had originally asked for the cavalry because I had farm experience.
Right.
And they put me in the medics.
Did they do that because you had any skill or anything?
It was because of my eyes. I had bad eyes.
Okay.
And I've never regretted it, because any time in an outfit, in the beginning, you looked down on as a medic, but once you got into action, believe me, they looked up to you, and they needed you for backup.
Did you meet a lot of your friends in basic training?
I never knew anyone in the Army that I knew from New York. It was all buddies that I met in action and in basic training. And I made some very good friends. Jimmy Sullivan, he was a New Yorker, and we were buddies. As a matter of fact, he and I were that close that when fellas would see us coming down, they'd say, "Here comes Gilbert and Sullivan."
Now, he used to wrestle, right?
Who?
Was that Jimmy Sullivan?
And Sullivan was a ball player.
Oh, okay.
He played, he was a little guy. And, but he was such an athlete that down in Fort Jackson they had a contest as to who could throw the ball the furthest, and he won the contest. You didn't know where it came from. He played in the semi-pro league in New York, and in fact, Phil Rizzuto was on one of the teams that he played with or against.
Oh, wow.
And Rizzuto was taken to the Yankees, and Jimmy couldn't make it. They said he was too small. He was smaller than Rizzuto, who wasn't that big himself.
Right.
And then there's Jim Clemson, Patsy DeBona. I mean, guys that you could really depend on, and they had the same will to win the war and get home.
Did you meet all these guys in basic training, or did you meet them out in the
These
field?
were all in basic training. We stayed with each other throughout the war, except that certain things happened, and some guys got killed. And one guy went AWOL, which I really didn't blame him for. He wound up getting out about the same time we did. One of the adventures we had was we're getting ready to go to Anzio, and before I was sent, they wanted me to be a liaison man. They put me with the 7th Infantry of the 3rd Division to go in with the original invasion and count where any wounded were, and then come back when the rest of the landing was completed with the hospital supplies and the tents, and to gather up the wounded. that was my job. But before I left for them, we were all laying on the beaches, and one of my buddies said to me, "Harry, I don't have any morphine." And I said, "Well, I'll give you some of mine." And I went in my knapsack, and I didn't have any. I found out that some son of a bitch in the outfit stole all the morphines and was selling them on the black market in Naples. Eventually, that bastard got caught in France. I mean, they caught up with him. But that was one story. But anyway, we were able to fill our knapsacks with the morphine, because that's all we really had to help anybody when ease their pain.
Where did you guys go? Where was the first place you went to after basic training?
After basic training? You mean?
Right after that in Virginia, right?
Yeah, then we went to South Carolina, Fort Jackson.
Okay.
And my outfit had originally, the original fellas had been on maneuvers down in Louisiana. And they had some experience. And when they came back, we were the new recruits coming from Camp Lee, and we filled in their roster of missing personnel. We had a full contingent. Anyway, when we landed in Casablanca...
Did you fly over to Casablanca? Is that how you went?
We went on Mauritania.
Oh, by ship? How long did that take?
I'm regressing, and because I mean, you're catching me unawares, you know, of what you want, and I'm just trying to give you a synopsis of my experiences. Anyway, there was a lot of, in Africa, the First Army was just coming back from they had the first action against Rommel, and they were coming back already, and we were going forward. So we didn't see any action, but they kept us in training and getting ready to go to Sicily and Italy. After they had finished with Rommel, he was the desert rat, you know, from the Germans. There was a lot of, I mean, you got to remember, here we are, fresh from the States, young guys, and we're all raring to go. And once we got there, the colonel, who was our arm man, he got a heart attack, and he got sent back to the States. And they gave us a new company commander.
1 second, I think Joe's gonna be taking off. Hold on, pausing it. Cut. And cut. Oh wait, whoop, that's not cutting it. Hold on. Now, where were we?
We're in Africa.
Okay, in Africa.
And orders came from above to keep the men busy. We kept getting all kind of chicken shit things, and they kept us. You had to sweep out. It's all sand over there. And we're in tents. There's no concrete floor or anything. And we kept getting gigged. When you got gigged, they gave you either KP or they made you run around the racetrack.
What was KP? Kitchen patrol?
No, KP is kitchen. Yeah, kitchen. Peel potatoes, do the pots and cans. Anyway, we were in Morocco in Rabat, and they had a castle there. Well, it wasn't a castle, but they had the high muckamucks had beautiful estates, you know. And they had a racetrack because they raced Arabian horses. And they made us, for punishment for getting a gig, you know, like if your bed wasn't made or there was dust around your bed, they made you run around the racetrack, but it kept us in damn good condition. And the funny thing is, with all that, nobody ever got, really very few people ever got cold or anything, and we were mostly city boys.
Grandma?
What? You cow!
mostly city boys, and
Harry, could you give this to Oh, yeah, thank you.
but we took the army life like a duck to water. And as a matter of fact, it's my opinion that the enlisted men, I mean not the enlisted men, the fellows that were drafted, when they got into combat, made just as good or better soldiers than the regular army.
Wow.
And you could take it from me.
Didn't you told me about this sergeant that you had once who was so gung-ho, the Tiger or something like that?
Yeah, that was Sergeant Tillman.
Mm-hmm.
And he was regular army. He'd been Panama, at the Panama Canal. That was his beat. And he actually, I mean, he was very strict and all army. And I didn't mind that at all.
Mm-hmm.
But he started to drink, and when we got close to action, and it took a young army officer that came from West Point, Kellogg, his name was, and this Tillman had gotten roaring drunk, and he was waving a gun around in the tent, you know, and up to then, I really had no opinion of this lieutenant. But he came in and, like steel, he ordered him to turn that gun over, you know. 'Cause we were medics, and only certain people had guns, like
right.
guard duty, or we were